I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I know I could have done better. I've been gone for like what, how many months now? I don't want to even apologize, not because I'm not sorry, but because I have been saying I'm sorry and I've not come up with any new content. But with that said, I came up with some new strategies for this session, and this is like a form of accountability for my fans and viewers that trust me going forward every week I'll be shooting out new content. And I also have a new strategy for the YouTube channel, which is going live and doing more live teachings versus doing recorded videos, because that way I get to delve deep into some core personal finance principles and concepts. With that said, let's jump right into this topic. It's very exciting. Today's topic is going to be very, very wonderful. It's going to be very interesting, and it promises to be insightful. I'm telling you, it's going to make you scratch your head and say, "Wow, okay, what have I been doing since? What am I going to do right now?" And so today's topic is titled "The Four Ways Homeownership Makes You Broke." Now, a caveat: this is a video. I know I have viewers across the world, from Africa, from Europe, from North America, but this is mainly targeting European and North American audiences, where home ownership has some challenges versus like Africa or like other countries where you can easily buy homes like cash down. There's less sticker prices, and there's different laws that govern home ownership. But if you are based in Europe or North America, definitely these are the four ways in which home ownership keeps you stuck and makes you broke financially. We got started. The number one thing is if you have a 30-year mortgage. About 75% of Americans take on a 35-year mortgage versus a 15-year mortgage. So if right now you own a home and you have a a 30-year mortgage, that's the number one way home ownership is going to keep you broke and stuck like chalk in a pickup truck. Actually, that line's not from me, it's from one of my mentors, Myron Golden. He likes to say that a lot. But that's the reality, because I'm going to show you, and this is not me. Everything I tell you on this channel is premium, is fact based, and number one and number three is very, very transparent. Now, what I'm going to do with you guys, because I know a lot of people will say, "Oh, Paul, but most Americans or most of us in Europe or Canada is it's 30 years that is available to us." No. So today I'm going to actually come up with a way. I'm going to be sharing my screen actually, which is why I'm really excited about this new strategy that I'm using in this YouTube live, because I can share my screen and show you what I'm looking at. So right now I'm going to share my screen and show you how I come up with my analysis. Now this is to any credit union or any financial institution, but what I want to show you is going to be mind blowing. So let's look at Founders Credit Union. I was checking them earlier. Let's model it. Let's see what I'm talking about, right? You guys will say, okay, what's Paul talking about? Let's see. Show me, show me, show me. Somebody say, show me, show me. Show me the. I can't even believe a lot of people do this, but hey, it's not me. Let's see, mortgage loans. Okay, let's do a simulation, right? A simulation. This is not like they have like different calculators. They have what 30-year fixed mortgage, 15 years, 15, 15, 7, 1, whatever it is. But let's go for what most people go with. Oh, wonderful. They even have a home price. So let's assume that the home price you want to buy is $400,000. It doesn't matter. It can be any price. And let's even say for this purpose of this particular first topic, we are putting a 20% down. That 20% down payment is what you normally put down for a house, and you use that to avoid a PMI. So we- we're buying a house for $400,000. We are putting down 20%, and we're doing a 30-year fixed mortgage. If you are ready to see what I'm saying, just say ready. Type ready in the chat. If you can hear me, type ready in the chat. Type ready. Type ready. Let's look at this together. So, for a loan of $320,000, you're going to be paying back an extra 389,000. That's at 400. That's almost $400,000. Let's see how much. What's the interest rate for this one? 6%, right? I mean, if it's lower, this is the typical range. A lot of people get like a lot of people. Sorry, not a lot of people. A lot of people right now in this climate that we are in with high interest rates, I think a 6.25% is really good. You can argue with me and say, oh, okay, Paul, let's make it five, right? Let's say five. Let's make it five. Let's see what it comes down to. You're still going to be paying back $316,000 in interest plus the principal. By the time you have bought with the house, you're looking at double the price. You took a loan of $320,000 and you're paying back $640,000 to the bank for the amount that you bought the house for. So my question now to you is, tell me, how is this 30-year mortgage an investment? You are paying a monthly payment of $1,768. This is assuming no other fees entitled, right? Which I'm going to get to. This doesn't include the taxes, doesn't include the homeowner insurance. This is just at a 5% interest rate with a 20% down payment. Not everybody can afford this, but let's say even say you put that and look at the 30-year mortgage, you are paying back $636,000. But if you chose a 15-year mortgage, guess what? Let's see. Oh, let's see what we get. Let's see what we get. Ooh, look at that. Look at the interest. Wow. Somebody pinch me. Somebody pinch me. So you mean to tell me that if I change my mortgage from 30 years to 15 years, I'm able to slash more than half, more than half, more than half in interest. Let me even think. Let's just think together and let's just even brainstorm. Imagine what you could do with $150,000. Because you can tell me, oh, Paul, that money is not available. Guess what? You're going to pay that money regardless. So $150,000 for 15 years. 15 years times 12 is 180 monthly payment. 180 monthly payment. So that's close to like almost $8,000 per month, which you're just putting towards interest. Now you wonder, why is the bank going? Oh, look at that. I didn't even see that. Look at that. The interest rate went down. At the 15-year mortgage, guess what? Remember before we did the 30 years at 5.25, right? Let's see, we did 5.25, but now when you do a 15-year mortgage, you get a 5.5. But assuming we also take down 1 point, it gets interesting. That's what I'm saying. Get it? Are you tracking? Are you following me? Let's look at this. Now let's see it's 4.5. Ooh, somebody pinch me. Look at that interest. $120,000. What can you do with an extra almost $200,000 in your bank account? I can't even think about it. There's a lot of things I can do with that money. There are lots of things I can do with that money. So the number one thing you are doing as an homeowner is, if you have a 30-year mortgage, you are going to be stuck and broke. I mean, it's not a cost if you don't do some things right. Because look at this right now. You are able to save yourself an extra $200,000 just by slashing your mortgage year by half. But a lot of people will not take this option. Instead, they'll say, oh, well, 30 years. And this is another painful thing. Look at the monthly payments, right? At 24.48 compared to the monthly payments at 30 years at a 5.25, because remember we took it down because of the assuming. So just $700 extra a month. $700 extra a month on top of your mortgage, and you will be able to pay only $120,000 in interest. That's mind blowing. That's the number one reason. So if you are trying to buy a house, think about this. Do you want to be stuck or you want to be free? I suggest you get free quickly. If you know me by now, I'm always on the fast lane. Look at the difference in interest. Just $700 per month. If you could raise $1,700, then prepare to have an extra $700. And then guess what? You'll be free quickly and you save a lot of money on interest. Now don't confuse this one with paying your mortgage early. There's a difference between both entirely. Those are two different things. I'm not saying that you're not going to see a lot of interest, but because remember you're already big in the interest, even though you pay a mortgage early, you still have to pay a lot of money towards interest, which is just, you don't have paid just so much, but you'd have paid a lot. All right, that's the number one way in which ownership keeps you stuck. All right, let's go back to the number two option now, because four, right? There's four ways in which ownership keeps you stuck. So now, number two, junk fees. We all know this by now. Junk fees we're talking what? Tell me, you tell me, what? HOA, PMI, yearly taxes, closing fees. I like to call them junk fees because I use the word junk only because they don't add to the value of your house. These are fees that instead drain you cash flow wise. Yeah, HOA, if you home ownership association fees, if you buy like a condo or you buy in a nice neighborhood that has fees, maybe you might be paying for no, maybe like nice security or other like neighborhood benefits. But trust me, you will always pay those HOA fees if you have like an ownership. And guess what? It's just a nice to have. How many of these things do you really use? Then the PMI. PMI is payment mortgage interest, if I'm not, or is it private mortgage interest? I don't know. I can't remember the full meaning clearly now. But the interesting thing about this is if you don't put up to 20% down payment, you're going to be paying an extra penalty because you didn't put 20% down to secure your loan. There are some few financial institutions that don't give you PMI. I think Founders is one of them. I think there might be some courses around that. You have to do some research at it. But from what I understand, a lot of 90% of banks or institutions charge you PMIs. So you keep paying those PMIs until you have paid up to 20% of principal in your loan. Or like they say, you've been able to contribute over 20% of equity. Just think about how much that is every month for you. Now, if you're also paying taxes, this is a this is a double whammy because when you own a house in Canada or US or UK, most of or Europe, you pay taxes on your homes. And guess what? You want your house to increase in value, right? Well, if you want your house to increase in value, your taxes also what? Also go up. The more your houses increase in value, the higher your taxes go up, which is a normal thing. Also, if you live in a nicer neighborhood, maybe you like the school system, like the security, guess what? Higher taxes. One of my friends who lives in like an average area in Massachusetts, he pays between $5,000 to $8,000 per year on taxes. $8,000 on taxes for a house that is, and he has to pay because his house is appreciating. Or guess what? If he doesn't pay it, he gets a lien on his house, and with the lien, his house can be up for grabs if he doesn't pay it off. So these taxes are a must have to pay. Another thing again is closing fees. Now you tell me, oh well, Paul, that's part of business. I understand that, but that's another way too. You either pay it cash or it is baked into your mortgage payments every month. Another example, number two, those junk fees of how it keeps it. By the time you add the HOA, PMI, taxes, and also maybe closing fees, they add up pretty quickly. And the taxes are every year. PMI you get free after like 20% is put into the principal. HOA, you're not going to be free if you live in an association or like a home ownership area. So you're going to keep paying that forever. It's annuity, like taxes. But these are the other ways in which, if you're not careful, it can make you house poor. I'm telling you, because if you combine the fact that you're paying higher interest because it's a 30-year mortgage, and then you add to this the junk fees, see how much cash flow is leaving your pockets every month. Number three, lifestyle inflation. Ooh, lifestyle inflation. Tell me somebody. Because now you're moving to a bigger place, maybe you're coming from a two-bedroom apartment or a one-bedroom apartment, you're moving to like a three-bedroom or a five-bedroom. Guess what? It's natural for we as humans to want to ascend. It's natural for we as humans to want to fill up the space. Let's think about it. If you have a one bedroom before, maybe you had like only one mattress or two mattresses. Now you have three bedrooms. It's natural for you to want to buy new mattresses and new beds. You might want to change your sofa. You might want to change your dining table. Many things begin to crop up, right? You're like, oh wow, now I have a bigger house. Maybe get a nicer decoration, get a maybe you have a patio. You're gonna buy a patio You're going to buy furniture for the patio. These are the things in which lifestyle inflation creeps in, and before you know it, you're just spending money. Spend because your nature is like, oh well, I got a house now. Finally, okay, man, I need a new. I have a guest bedroom. Let me buy a new TV there. Oh, let me put a new sofa there. Let me put a new chair there. Before you know it, what's going out? Cash, cash. Let's say, and it gets interesting if you have families. Like, sorry, if you're a family man or family woman, like you got kids and your house is big enough, or you have like a party or a backyard, guess what you want to do next? You want to build a playground, right? You want to build a playground or a trampoline or a little makeshift pool. You see how it begins to add up? Your plan was to pay your mortgage, right? You're going to only pay your mortgage monthly and maybe pay your taxes. But now these are hidden costs that come because you own a home. And when your kids also too, when you have kids too, you might want to have a nursery or a playroom, right? Maybe before, because you were in a two-bedroom apartment, there was only so much you could buy. Also, because you were renting, there was only so much you could have for storage to put maybe like bicycles or playgrounds. So you were really, really confined not to spend that money. But now you have a big house, or you have a house with a big yard or with a big surroundings. Guess what? It's natural for you to want to give your kids those experiences, right? You want to get a swing, a trampoline, and just like that, lifestyle inflation creeps in. Oh, it gets interesting. If you have a big part of decoration, if you are in an apartment, there's some laws, right? Maybe you cannot hang decorations behind some places, right? Now you have your own house. What do you want to do in Christmas time? You want to bring big trees. You want to buy lights on your trees, right? You want to have like those big caricatures or whatever. And if you celebrate Halloween, same thing too. You see how it is right now? You begin to buy all those stuff together, and that's how lifestyle inflation creeps in, and that's why a lot of people end up being house poor, unplanned. And guess what pays for it? Your credit cards, personal loans, because now you have to upgrade. Oh, one more thing I didn't remember. When you buy a house, about 50% to 75% of people have housewarming. Now you tell me, oh well, we have registry. How many people buy stuff in the registry for a housewarming? It's good, but guess what? You pay back by hosting guests, food, you cook. All these things together are what creates the inflation that shrink, that threaten your finances. You see how that's happening right now? So remember, we started with number one, a 30-year mortgage. Number two, junk fees. Now we're on number three, lifestyle inflation. Number four, this is this is where a lot of people now tell me, hold on. Number four is going to be, I like to call it maintenance costs. Some people tell me, oh well, Paul, that's if you have a rented apartment, you probably do the same thing too. No, but that's another topic for another day. Maintenance costs. Think far and wide. Unless you have a new house, or unless the previous owners were very meticulous about how they kept the house, you are most likely going to incur maintenance costs, all kinds of maintenance costs. In fact, Let's even start with the basic lawn care and snow plowing. If you live like where I came from, right now we're in Azure, so we have very, very minimal snowstorms. But like in Massachusetts or New York or Midwest, where they have a lot of snowstorms, the time you spend plowing the snow. If you don't do it yourself, guess what? You pay for it, which also costs money. If you don't have a snow field area, you also pay it with lawn because your grasses grow. And there's only so much your grasses can grow before you become a pariah to your neighbors. They're like, oh well, when are you gonna cut when are you gonna cut your cut your grass? And this is where again lifestyle inflation. Because you own a house, you might want to buy a snow plow, you might want to buy a lawn mower, you buy wheelbarrows, you buy shovels, all kinds of things, right? Because you have to mow your lawn, you have to plow the snow and make your surroundings look nice. You see how it begins to add up right now? The maintenance cost to own the house begins to jack up. Oh, not to mention when things break, you have to fix it. Broken closets, broken boiler, broken roof, broken what hose. You have to start fixing yourself, right? Otherwise, you pay for it, and it's not cheap. You pay for the labor. Now you tell me, oh well, Paul, I can fix it myself. That's true, but let me ask you a question. The time you spend mowing your lawn, plowing the snow, fixing things in the house, if you add it up together, I like to call it sweat equity. How much time? Think about that time you could have spent. You could have been spent with your family, you could have been spent on your business, you could have been spent resting. Usually, also, these things also have like a body aftermath. If you plow the snow for too long, guess what? You're out in the cold for 30 minutes, you come back home, you have to warm up quickly, right? It, it adds to the body. You're out there in the sun, mowing your lawn, unless you have like the higher grade where you like sit down and then you're like driving it around, driving it around your machine, which costs more money. Now, body pain, you're out in the sun again, mowing the lawn, all these things begin to add up. So when you think about this, even though you cannot put a price because you're doing it yourself, ask yourself, what am I worth per hour? Or in time of doing this, what could have also been done? Because sometimes people say, oh, well, I didn't pay for it. But what did you pay for? You paid for it indirectly. This is what I like to call indirect costs. This is what I like to call, there's a, there's a word that in finance that's, is this sunk costs? Yeah, which you cannot recover. The time is spent. You can make more money, but you cannot make more time. The time is gone. How much is that time worth for you? You tell me. I don't know. You tell me how much it's worth to you. But these are the four ways in which homeownership, a lot of people have been sold on this dream, like, oh, the American dream, work hard, hustle hard, save some money, and then buy a house. I'm not saying now. Look, to be honest with you, this if you look at this content and think, oh, it's all doom and gloom. That's not the point. My job again, like I said, is to educate you guys so I can make the right choice. My job is to show you these things that the brokers, the dealers will not show you because they want to make a sale. They tell you, oh, yes, when you own a house, create memories. You can do your own thing. You own it. That's true, and I get that. I think house ownership is good, but nobody tells you this part that I'm telling you because these things are happening. That's why check it. Let me. Okay, I can share my screen right now. Check it online. House poor. What does it mean to be house poor? A lot of people are house poor because they just did not open their eyes on when this is happening. They were not informed about the higher interest, about the high taxes that be going on with the house appreciating. They have to pay other maintenance fees, junk fees, which you have to pay for as you own the house. These ways, now if you are following me, what is coming out to you clearly? It's called cash outflow. In all of these things, there's no more cash coming in, right? You can have like a new job, give like a 15% increase in gross income or a 30% increase. But how often do you have this kind of jobs coming? But instead, your costs are steadily going up. Facts, you must pay taxes. Facts, pay insurance. Facts, if you don't put down 20%, you might pay PMI. Facts, things will break in the house. And those things cost a lot of money. It could be a garage door, it could be one roof door, it could be one door in your room. You might have to paint the wall again. All these things cost a lot of money. And guess what? You're not having cash outflow with less inflow. As you can see, these are facts that happen to homeowners. And I guarantee you that about 95% of homeowners have at least one of these mistakes. Or not mistakes, sorry. Do one of these things that make them stuck. Now, of course, doesn't mean all house owners are broke. That's not the point. Homeowners who are thriving have a lot of things in common, but I'll give you down like two at least. Number one, they have a budget, so they plan for these things. And number two, they also have savings so that when these costs come in, they're not caught unawares. Now, if you don't have the budget or don't have savings and you own a house and you're wondering why your house poor, look into these four reasons. You'll be surprised at how many boxes you check. Again, this is not about all doom and gloom. This is not about saying home ownership is bad. It's about more like think through the choices. Like Jesus said, which of you wanting to build a house does not sit down and look at the cost before he goes to go and build a house so it doesn't get stuck in between? I know a lot of homeowners who are crying underneath, who are stuck because they don't want to lose their houses, but guess what? They have to suffer to pay their mortgage, they have to make things work, get on a credit card, get a personal loan, get a line of credit just to be able to keep up with their needs because they are getting house poor. Why? All these costs balloon up. They are paying taxes, they are paying maintenance fees, they are fixing things in their house that is broken, which they didn't plan for. Like you know me right now, I like to give things the way they are. Today's session was about enlightening you. So if you like it, please like it, share it, and subscribe. Until next week, I'm not sure it'll be the same time, but I promise that I'm going to be doing better every week. In the last couple of months, it's been intense with the business. I've launched coaching programs, I've taught master classes, I've written books, and then I have a community that I'm nurturing and like sharing insights with. So if you want to learn more about that community and more about my programs, tap the link below to sign up to my emails and you'll be getting a lot of information from me. But I've been really, really swamped up and I've been like a partial one man, but I have a team, but there's only so much I can pay before I get things done. And I have a full-time job. Don't ask me, oh well, Paul, you're making money. Why are you having a full-time job? That's a topic for another day. I'll tell you more about that. But for now, thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, bye for now. And remember, it's never too late. The goal is to take action. Action, action. What can you do to change your course? What can you do to move from being stuck and broke to changing your course to becoming financially free and thriving? Bye for now.